the latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. March is the month that they always remember slave trade. And today we have Salome Agbaruji, who is also giving her opinion concerning the slave trade. This lady gave us a very powerful speech about how the Europeans came into Africa, coming to claim ownership of other human beings. The kind of brutality these people meted out to us, until date, these people are still doing the same thing that they are doing to us. How can somebody come into another person's home and claim ownership of that person? It isn't that they did this in the past. Even today, they are still doing it. These same people are preventing us from giving our own perspective. After everything these people did to the African, these people still do not want to allow us to give our own perspective and to tell the story as it is. They are the same people who are writing all the books and everything that we know about slave trade. These people gave us the narrative, and today we are still moving with the same narrative that these people gave to us. So at the end of the day, the Africans still do not know who he is, and we do not know our own story. The artifacts that they've looted from Africa, these are the same things that they made us to believe that they were fetish. The African do not want to have anything to do with the artifacts that we have in Africa. But these are the same things that these people took into their museums, and they are making millions of dollars and euros out of it. Because we are made to believe that these are evil and they are devilish. She also talked about segregation towards the African. Wherever we go, when they look at our skin color, especially our brothers who are outside of the continent, you know the kind of pain you go through just because of your skin color. When you are going to look for a job, they see you to be inferior. Our brothers outside of the continent will be in the best position to tell us more about what they are facing, because there are some places these our brothers cannot visit, and there are some positions they will never give to them. So these people are always doing everything possible to still make the African feel inferior. And when they finish, they will make sure that the narrative is still what they say and not what we know it to be.
I am honored to join you all for the commemoration of the International Day of Remembrance of the victims of slavery and the transatlantic slave trade. As we gather today under this year's theme, acknowledge the past, repair the present, and build a future of dignity and justice, I wish not to dwell on the gruesome details of the human rights atrocity that was the transatlantic slave trade. The 15 million Africans kidnapped, commodified, and brutalized, the systemized sexual violence perpetrated towards enslaved women, and the many other hideous practices that underpinned the trade of enslaved Africans. I would much rather point out the peculiarity of these strange and bitter crimes. Europeans approached a foreign people and declared, "You're mine." To assume ownership of another human being and trade their life on coasts like measly seashells is morally detestable, sinister, but also exceptionally odd. To meet difference with disdain, then militarize it, write it into law, organizing all social forces towards upholding this artificial hierarchy of human life is strange and deplorable. As I unpack this twisted psychology, it reveals the audacious white supremacist motivation to claim and control both the Black body and, very importantly today, the Black narrative. As the 7th National Youth Poet Laureate of the United States, I am well acquainted with the transformative power of narrative in storytelling. And as the daughter of Nigerian immigrants to the United States, I wield this power every day in my practice, with the hope that my words empower and uplift marginalized narratives, revering writers like Professor Wole Soyinka for being true champions of the African narrative. But what does weaving a true Black narrative look like for me? It is viewing African art in European museums. It is delivering this address about Black and African liberation in my colonizer's tongue. It is reading African history accounts written by white explorers that paint my people as uncivilized barbarians. And even when we do have accurate histories, we refuse to disseminate them. Our books are banned, our voices are silenced. We sit willfully in the ignorance that empowers and perpetuates these systems. Today, we find ourselves in the middle passage of the path towards racial justice, the hazy and turbulent space in the journey between hell and home, where the majority of our suffering is hidden in the lower decks of our societies. The state-sponsored systems of institutional racism, like segregation, gentrification, and housing discrimination all over the world insidiously contribute to racial disparities. Even discrimination in the labor force thwarts Black progress, deeming us unqualified by the color of our skin before we even step through the door. So much so that assuming the incompetence of Black workers is called common sense. Where is home if everywhere we exist, whether taken there forcefully or by arriving from the merit of our own hard work, we are told we don't belong? In these troubled waters, we are waiting and waiting for a change. And as we repair our present, I urge us to nurture a global community in which Afro-descendants can look in the mirror and say, "You're mine." Turn the tide, flip the phrase to reclaim our personhood and our narratives. To African nations and Afro-diasporic communities, I say today that your value goes far beyond the human labor you provide, but lies in the vibrancy of your culture and innovations. You are not precious for your medals, but for your resilience, and simply your humanity. Our futures are as bright as the smiles we manage in the face of adversity. And I must also speak to the member states who have not yet formally acknowledged the part their nations have played in the transatlantic slave trade. I say, in our history, your nations have acknowledged my people enough for us to be the recipient of your whip. But in our future, acknowledge us enough to be the recipient of your remorse. In history, your nations have been economical enough to assign dollar values to human life. Today, and in our future, use this same economical prowess to assign dollar values to your ethical debt. I echo the Secretary General in saying that we need reparatory justice systems to move forward as a global community. This means supporting and sponsoring educational programs that tell the full and true African history. This means returning stolen goods to their rightful owners. This means putting our money where our morals are. We say we want a future of dignity and justice. An actioned acknowledgement would not bestow the Black diaspora with dignity, for that could never be taken from us. The necessary work of reparatory justice is the way these nations regain their own. I appreciate the few nations who have begun this work, but know that this is only just the beginning. Before we leave this chamber today, I urge you all to reflect upon your own nations, asking, what has your nation done to rebalance the scales of justice? What more can be done to bring the ship from hell finally back to home? And realize that this future we call good is well within our collective reach. Thank you.
Africans are still kept backwards, and all these atrocities that they came and did in Africa, and they are still doing, according to them, they are doing them to make sure the African is civilized. But these people came to learn civilization from us. According to history, time, education, and what have you were brought by the African. These people learned everything from us. If they claim they are the ones who civilized us, who brought the first university in the world, it was built in Mali, the University of Timbuktu. So what shows that these are the people who came in to civilize us? We know how to read and write before these people came. Our form of writing might be different from theirs, but that doesn't mean that we didn't know how to read and write. When we take China, Korea, and other and compare it to the white man, their way of writing is different. If Africans are using symbols to send their message across, doesn't mean that the African couldn't read and write. The artifacts these people are keeping in their museums that they are making huge sums of money from, and they claim we do not know how to read and write and we are not educated, and that is why they came to civilize us. How did we bring them into being? So these people always find means and ways to cover up everything that they are doing. But it is you and I that have to rise up, know who we are, and fight all these systems that these people created and the false narrative that they've given to us. Like Robert Kiyosaki would say, what you know, the opposite is always the truth. So if truly the African want to really be free, we have to all journey to learn the truth. We have to take it upon ourselves, dig back into time and learn. Sometimes when I post videos, people will come and tell me these are old videos. There is nothing old. The information we have in the past is there to guide us in the present so that we'll know how to fight for the liberation that we are looking for. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generation that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world. And in the United States of America,